You have the perfect plan. Every step is mapped out, a flawless blueprint for the change you know you need to make. Whether it's starting a business, getting in shape, or finally putting your creative work out there, you can see the final moment so clearly, it feels real. But when it's time to act, you're frozen. It feels like being a spectator to your own ambition, watching from the sidelines as another day, another week slides by. Your plan remains a perfect, pristine, and completely theoretical document. This isn't just procrastination. You're experiencing what we can call internal friction, a psychological state often referred to as analysis paralysis. It's a powerful force that keeps many of us stuck in reflection when what we want is progress. This is especially common for introverts. Research shows that the introverted brain has a higher level of baseline cortical arousal, meaning it's naturally more active. Your mind is built for deep processing, but that strength becomes a cage when it isn't channeled into action. In this video, we'll deconstruct this phenomenon, we'll explore why you get trapped in these mental loops. Then, we'll shift to the how, with concrete, actionable strategies designed for the introverted mind, so you can finally release the brake and build the tangible confidence that comes not from thinking but from doing. So, what is internal friction? It's the psychological drag that makes every intended action feel exhausting before you even begin. For introverts, whose inner worlds are already buzzing, this can be particularly draining. The introverted brain processes information deeply and is more sensitive to certain neurotransmitters. Specifically, while extroverts thrive on the reward chemical dopamine, an introvert's brain can feel easily overstimulated by it. Instead, introverts are more rewarded by acetylcholine, a chemical linked to calm focus and internal reflection. When that deep thinking tendency isn't channeled outward, it curdles into friction. Here are the 4 most common forms this takes. First, mental noise cycles. This begins with a single doubt, like, what if the client rejects my proposal? But soon, it spirals. For introverts, a single thought is never just a thought. It's a node in a vast web of past experiences and future worries. Your brain's strength is connecting ideas. But when this process isn't directed, it becomes a storm of what-ifs. An example is spending 3 hours worrying about every possible negative outcome of a 5-minute phone call, leaving you too drained to even pick up the phone. The second form of friction is the shame and control loop. This is where the fear of failure meets the fear of being seen. Acting on an idea means you have to take it from the safety of your mind and expose it to the real world. As long as the project is just a plan, it remains flawless. The moment you act, you risk judgment. To avoid that potential shame, you try to control everything. You endlessly refine your business plan, rewrite the first paragraph of your novel 50 times, or research one more online course, all to avoid the perceived shame of showing an imperfect version to the world. Third, we have social overload inertia. Introverts have a higher baseline level of cortical arousal. A flood of interaction can quickly lead to overstimulation. Your natural instinct is to retreat into solitude to recharge. But sometimes you get so comfortable there that the thought of a bold outward action like networking or pitching an idea feels overwhelming. For example, after a long week of meetings, you know you should go to an industry event on Friday night, but the thought of more social output feels so depleting that you stay home, sacrificing opportunity for comfort. The quiet that was meant to be restorative becomes a form of paralysis. Finally, there's perfectionistic rumination. This is when you compare your messy first attempt to someone else's polished final product. You look at the awkward first draft of your presentation and compare it to a polished TED Talk, and then berate yourself for the gap. You get stuck focusing on your raw materials instead of acknowledging that building is a process. This isn't constructive, it's a destructive thought loop that convinces you that action is pointless until you can create something perfect from the start, which is impossible. If this sounds familiar, acknowledge how exhausting it is. This internal friction isn't a character flaw, it's a pattern, and a pattern can be changed. Here's the frustrating part. You're self-aware. You know you need to act. So why doesn't that awareness translate into action? This is the canyon between knowing what to do and actually doing it. For introverts, this gap can feel massive for a few key reasons. First, you get trapped by the comfort of the known. Even if your current situation is unsatisfying, it's familiar. Change, even positive change, means stepping into the unknown. Your self-awareness can paradoxically make this worse. You have a crystal clear image of the person you want to become, but you stop short of taking the necessary actions. For instance, you know your job is a dead end, and you've identified 3 promising career paths. You spend months reading about them, but you never update your resume or reach out for an informational interview. The thinking feels productive, but the behavior remains unchanged. Second, your awareness gets hijacked by negative self-talk. Your awareness shines a spotlight on the problem, but your inner critic grabs the microphone. As you're about to take a step, it lists all the reasons you're going to fail. For example, you decide to share your artwork online. Just as you're about to hit post, your mind floods with thoughts like, "No one will care," or "People will think it's amateur." These aren't just passing thoughts. They become deeply held beliefs that actively block the behavior. Finally, there's introvert inertia and dopamine sensitivity. As we've covered, the introverted brain is more sensitive to dopamine and finds reward in the calm focus provided by acetylcholine. This makes quiet reflection your natural habitat. Taking a bold action often requires a burst of extroverted energy, which can feel jarring and overwhelming to a nervous system that prefers operating at a lower level of stimulation. So you stay parked, stuck in what feels like productive reflection, but is actually an insight addiction, the endless hunt for understanding without the will to apply it. Breaking this cycle isn't about gaining more awareness, it's about building a bridge across the canyon between thought and action. And to help you start building that bridge right now, I've created a completely free 3-day workbook designed to turn these insights into action. It's filled with guided exercises to help you take your first meaningful steps. You can grab it at the link in the description. We've explored the problem. We understand the friction and the gap between knowing and doing. Now for the solution. This is not about trying to become an extrovert. It's about using your introverted strengths to build authentic confidence. Here are 6 strategies designed for that. Strategy 1. Start with what you actually enjoy. Instead of starting with the action that terrifies you, start with something you're genuinely passionate about. The goal is to generate a feeling of pride in a low-stakes environment. Pick a hobby, hiking, writing, coding, and dedicate time to it. Once you feel that pride, take one tiny step to share it. For example, if you love baking, don't start by trying to launch a business. Instead, post one photo of a finished cake to a small, niche baking forum. This externalizes your inner world in a way that feels safe, using your passion as the fuel. Strategy 2. Take micro steps, not giant leaps. The idea of launching a YouTube channel is paralyzing, but what about recording a single 2-minute video on your phone with zero intention of posting it? The key is to break your goals into absurdly small, non-threatening steps. If your goal is to write a book, your first step isn't write chapter 1. It's open a new document and write 1 sentence. After each tiny step, take a moment to acknowledge that you did it. These small wins are the building blocks of momentum. Strategy 3. Actively practice realistic self-talk. Your mind is a courtroom, and for too long, the prosecutor, your inner critic, has been running unopposed. It's time to act as your own defense attorney. This isn't about baseless affirmations, but about actively presenting evidence for your strengths. When you catch yourself thinking, "I'm so awkward in meetings," counter it with evidence. "I'm a thoughtful listener and I'm good at preparing detailed notes." When you think, "My work isn't perfect," argue back with, "I am proud that I took action and created something." This is a functional first version. You must celebrate the attempt, not just the outcome. Strategy 4. Use structured low-stakes practice. Introverts often thrive when they know the rules of engagement. Find structured environments to practice skills. Toastmasters is a perfect example for public speaking. It's a space designed for practice where feedback is supportive and constructive. If you want to get better at sharing ideas at work, don't just decide to speak up more. Before your next meeting, prepare one specific, well-researched point. Write it down. Your mission is simply to share that one point. A clear, contained mission reduces the mental load and makes the action feel manageable. Strategy 5. Intentionally cultivate stillness. To quiet the engine of overthinking, you have to create intentional pauses. Your mind is often a blizzard of anxious thoughts, making it impossible to see clearly. Stillness practices like meditation are not about stopping your thoughts. They are about letting them settle. Just 5 to 10 minutes of quiet observation a day can lower your internal static. This creates a calmer inner environment, which gives you more mental energy to dedicate to action instead of worry. Strategy 6. Follow the path of radical self-acceptance. Fighting your introversion is an exhausting and pointless battle. Self-acceptance is realizing you function differently and then redirecting your energy to master your own strengths. Make peace with needing solitude to recharge. Acknowledge you do your best work when you can prepare. See your introversion not as a weakness, but as a set of specific traits: thoughtfulness, focus, and a rich inner world. Once you stop fighting your own nature, all the energy you were wasting is freed up to build a life that is authentically yours. Which of these strategies will you try first? Don't attempt all of them. Just pick one. The journey from thinking to doing is one of the most challenging you can take. For years, you may have believed the problem was a lack of planning or a personal flaw. But the problem isn't that you think too much. The problem is the internal friction that turns your deep thinking mind into a source of paralysis instead of progress. This friction comes from mental noise, the fear of shame, social inertia, and perfectionism. Awareness alone is not the cure. The cure is action, taken in a way that honors your nature. It's about using your passions to create low-stakes wins, breaking down goals into micro steps, becoming your own advocate, and accepting the way your brain is wired. Confidence isn't something you think your way into. It's something you build, action by action. Your ability to think, plan, and see all the angles is your superpower, but you have to learn how to wield it. Stop waiting for the perfect plan. The perfect moment is an illusion. Your task is to choose one small imperfect action you can take today. Reflect less. Externalize more. The world doesn't need another one of your perfect plans. It needs what you have to offer in all its messy, authentic, and courageous reality. Start now. And if you want to understand why this hesitation pops up even in simple, everyday situations, be sure to watch my next video on the hidden reason you hesitate in simple situations. Click the link on the screen to watch it now. Thanks for being here.